Welcome back to ZK Sports Radio. You're listening to the Steelers Preview Show. I'm Chris Carter, here with Dale Lolley, and we're getting you ready for the Steelers opening matchup in the playoffs of 2018 against the Jacksonville Jaguars this Sunday at 1 o'clock at Heinz Field. Before we get into it, Dale, let's talk about our friends at Henny Jewelers. Henny Jewelers, your jewelers on Walnut Street in Shadyside. Henny Jewelers, your jewelers for life. Now, all that being said, Dale, jewelry's on the mind of the Steelers right now.
Go get yourself a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, get yourself a ring. I don't think Henny does that, but I'm sure they
might be able to.
They might be able to if the Rooney's contract them out for it. But let's talk about, before we get to the Super Bowl, let's talk about what this team has to do right here to advance on their journey. They're going up against, one of the best defenses in the NFL this past year. Calais Campbell, Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Bouye, you name it. They got stars all over the field on defense. They intercepted Ben Roethlisberger 5 times. Dale, we've talked ad nauseam about this. Let's get to the nitty-gritty about what you wrote about in your big story this week, and that's the offensive line of the Steelers versus the defensive line of the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the money matchup. When you look at it, the Jaguars are paying their top 5 defensive linemen, including Calais Campbell, who's $17.5 million this year.
Wow.
$50.7 million on those 5 defensive linemen, and Ndukwe is on his rookie deal, and he was a third-round pick. He's making next to nothing.
Yep.
So, the rest of those guys are all making big bucks.
And Fowler's a second-year player, right?
Yeah,
he's a
2015. He was his third year, actually.
Okay,
because he got hurt his rookie year.
That's right. In the first play of training camp.
Yeah, but he's only like $3 million, and those other guys are making big bucks.
Sheesh.
They're paying Jackson. They're paying
Campbell,
and even Marcel Darius is making big money for them as well this year. So they're spending a lot of money on that, but they've gotten the results.
Certainly have. Second most sacks in the league.
Of those 5 guys, they've accounted for 43.5 of the 55 sacks.
Goodness.
I mean, so they get to the quarterback, they disrupt things, they get pressure, and it's not all about the sacks; it's about the pressure as well.
Right.
And we saw last week they only had 2 sacks last week against the Buffalo Bills, but they also had 6 quarterback hits in that game and had him running and throwing the ball away in those situations. Some of those situations he's throwing high. He had guys open down the field. So you look at that. This is a game where the Steelers' offensive line, and they have a lot of faith in their offensive line, and rightfully so. They've got 3 Pro Bowl players on that offensive line, and some other guys that are in consideration for that every year. That's going to be the marquee matchup in this game.
Yeah, I think it is going to be the marquee matchup because you're going to see Campbell line up against Alejandro Villanueva. I think that's going to be very interesting. Malik Jackson's a guy they're going to have to find a way to get him out of his gap so that they can try to win in the ground game. Now, I know that you and I have been talking about this. A lot of people think, the Steelers, they passed the ball too much in the last time. They need to just run the ball in this game, but that's not really the recipe for success when you have a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger and receivers like Brown, Smith-Schuster, and Bryant.
Well, that's not been what they've done over the last 6 weeks, if you think about it. Over the last 6 weeks, Ben Roethlisberger has thrown more passes than he has at any time in his career.
Goodness.
Over the last 6 weeks, Le'Veon Bell has gotten fewer carries than he has in any 6-week period in his career. The Steelers have been passing first. They've averaged 30 points a game over the last 8 games. Since midseason.
Wow.
This is what you looked at this offense, it's what it should have been. And that includes a game with Landry Jones at quarterback in the final week of the season. So, I think with the weapons that they have, with the guys who've emerged, the Juju Smith-Schusters, Martavis Bryant settling back in, you look at Vance McDonald and what he can bring to this offense. Even Eli Rogers and guys of that nature, and you're likely to get Antonio Brown back this week. Yes, the Jaguars' secondary is good. Those 2 cornerbacks are 2 of the best in the league, but there's only 2 of them.
Right.
Somebody's getting the as Antonio Brown told me a few years ago, somebody's getting the Snickers. Somebody's getting the candy bar matchup. Somebody's getting the sweet matchup, whether that be Aaron Colvin, their nickel corner, whether that be somebody else out there get matched up on a linebacker, on one of the safeties. They're going to win in those situations.
Right.
So the Steelers, I think, they can't just go out there and run the ball with Le'Veon Bell 30 to 35 times. They tried that early in the year. They did that down the stretch last year. And while they won doing that, it plays to those 3-point games that they were winning early in the season. You think about it, Le'Veon Bell, as good as he is, and he's a great running back, is not a game breaker. No. He had 3 runs this year of 20 or more yards.
Yeah, he's a guy that he battles. He's a move the chains kind of guy, but he's not a break off and get you 80 in one play.
And one of the other strengths of Jacksonville's defense is their red zone defense. I believe they gave up 38% scoring percentage in the red zone, second best in the league. They only give up 28 trips into the red zone this season.
That's ridiculous.
That's barely over 1 a game.
Right.
It's like 1.5 a game. Now the Steelers got in there 3 times in the first matchup, but they didn't score in any of those situations. So, you have to take some chances. You have to take some shots with this team. You can't play conservatively and just run the football 40 times in this game and have Ben Roethlisberger throw it and expect to win this football game. That's playing into the hands of the Jacksonville Jaguars, in my estimation.
I think that's a good estimate, and because I think is forcing those matchups to happen. Because one thing, if you remember, Ramsey's pick against Ben Roethlisberger in the first game came when he was guarding Vance McDonald down the field. I think part of it's going to be about making sure he's guarding receivers.
If he's on Vance McDonald, that means somebody else
is on. Yeah. So right, but the Steelers need to be putting themselves in a situation where they're not coming out in those heavy packages as much. Force those cornerbacks to go cover those go cover some receiving.
Spread the field a little bit,
right.
And if they show you, that they're going to try to keep the safeties back, run the football.
Yep.
If you spread the field and they bring the safety down in the box, throw the football.
Yep.
But find the right matchups. And that's going to be the key. I think Roethlisberger's in a much better place right now than he's playing much better now than he was earlier in the season. If you look at it since that game when he threw the 5 interceptions, he's averaged 298 yards passing. He has 20 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions, and the Steelers are 9-1 in those games.
Well, they'll certainly want to go 10-1 and continue that run against the Jaguars. When we come back after these messages, we're going to get into some interviews that Dale's been doing this week, getting ready for this big matchup.
Football season is here, and it's time to cash in on the nonstop sports action with MyBookie.ag. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event. Plus, MyBookie.ag will match your deposit with a bonus up to 100%. With decades of expertise and no-hassle payouts, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code DKRadio to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-BETS or visit MyBookie.ag to open an account. Sign up today.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit SchneiderDowns.com.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this amazing new website, stepoutside.org. Hi, I'm Dan Kovacevic of DK Sports Radio. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know about the outdoor life that's available to all of us in Western Pennsylvania. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, hunting, take part in power sports, shooting sports, water sports in your local community, across our region, across the country at stepoutside.org.
Welcome back to DK Sports Radio. You're listening to the Steelers Preview Show. I'm Chris Carter here with Dale Lolley. We just got done talking about some of the fun matchups, but Dale, I think some of the things that we should talk about were conversations you had with some of the players in the Steelers locker room this week. They've been pretty focused, and because they know not only what's at stake, but the level of competition that the other team's about to bring to them.
Yeah, I mean, these guys know, especially the offensive line, and we talked about it in the last segment, how these guys are keyed in on this matchup. They know that Jacksonville's good. They're not. This isn't a surprise to anybody. This isn't week 5 of the regular season. You look at them and go, oh, man, maybe they're good, maybe they're not. No, they know that these guys are good. One thing that people forget is that the Steelers didn't have Marcus Gilbert in that first matchup. He'll be at right tackle. He'll be back this week. And so I think that could be a key matchup for the Steelers to see. I think he's their best run blocker, but he also gives them better protection on the edge.
Certainly.
And it also gives them the ability then to use Chris Hubbard as an extra blocker if they choose to go that way as well. So I had a chance to catch up with Marcus this week and just talk to him a little bit about being back for this game. And here's what he had to say about that.
Oh, really good. We just have to play team ball together and not make any mental mistakes out there. Just go out there and play our ball, play physical, and we know what the task is.
Hey, good. I got a big thing for you.
The big task is ahead of us. We know we have to control these guys.
They don't seem to do a lot in terms of schematically trying to fool you or anything like that. Their 4 guys are going to line up, and they think their 4 guys are going to get there against you guys.
That's how it is every weekend. Whoever they bring, we got to block them. So no matter if they bring 2, 3, 5, 6, how many ever guys they bring, we have to block them.
You'll see some Calais Campbell, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You've been a guy who's lined up against a lot of those top level pass rush guys, and you've done a good job of shutting them down. What's the key to that?
Yeah, but there's no key. You have to just go out there, just prepare like I've normally been prepared, and I realize that I'm going up against one of the elite players in the NFL, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I have to up my level of play, obviously, because it's January football. But
He told me what to say.
whoever gets their hands on have to block them. That's going to give us a better chance to win this game.
Because they don't do a lot of blitzing or anything like that, does that make things easier? Or because those guys are so good, it doesn't matter?
It just doesn't matter. It just depends on what the timing of the routes and, just depending on the play. But, our deal is if they feel like they can, beat our 5, then they'll rush their 4. They got the stats to do so, and they have the track record. Those guys, I think they're number 2 in the league in stats. They don't blitz as much. So everything speaks for itself. You guys see the film. We watch the film. We know what these guys are about. But the good thing about it is we saw these guys early on in the season, so we kind of familiar with this group already.
So that's what Marcus Gilbert had to say about that. I also sat down and talked to Ramon Foster about that line this week as well. And Ramon was he's kind of funny about the whole thing. But gave me some great stuff as well. But here's what he had to say about this Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line. Is this game as simple as saying it comes down to your line against their line?
Yep, on both sides. Our defensive line against their O-line, our O-line versus their D-line. It's that simple. I said it before we started today. This game relies on our backs. It's that simple. That's protection of Ben. That's running and getting Le'Veon holes.
I added up the cap space for their top 5 defensive linemen.
I can't even imagine.
It's over $50 million.
See what I'm saying? They're heavy, and they're heavy, and rightfully so. It's paying off from 40 sacks amongst 4 guys. Over 40 sacks. It doesn't get much better than that.
That doesn't even include Darius.
See what I'm saying? They're good. They're good. There's no way we're looking forward to next week or nothing. Now it's this week.
You'll be the lowest paid guy out there then.
We'll see what happens after this year. See, I'll laugh all the way to the bank in all season.
When you face a line like that, do you guys even take? You guys take pride in what you do anyway. But when you face,
they're the epitome of everything else in this league. Their D-line, the front 7, hell, the whole defense is the epitome of excellence in this league. They're good. They're that good. I give them a crown.
That doesn't mean they'll win, though.
I'm telling you, they get a crown. They get a crown.
So that was Steelers guard Ramon Foster. Ramon obviously very deferential to this Jacksonville defense.
Mm-hmm.
They're not overlooking these guys. The people who are out there thinking that the Steelers are looking past the Jaguars to the potential matchup or a rematch with the New England Patriots, I think are completely wrong.
And just overlooking what they're talking about this week.
This is a team that beat them 30-9 in the regular season earlier this year. This is a team that intercepted Ben Roethlisberger 5 times. This is a team that ran for 232 yards in that game.
And talked about it. So they're not going to overlook this team on either side of the ball.
It's just not going to happen because this is a team. It's not like they're playing a rematch against the Tennessee Titans, a team they beat 40-17.
No.
This is a team that beat them at Heinz Field. They're going to have their complete attention with a chance to go to the AFC Championship on the line.
Now, one thing that was talked about this week was how Ben Roethlisberger didn't really respond to some of the things that the Jaguars had to say about him. Ramsey said, made a comment about, I'd want to play us too after I threw 5 interceptions and contemplated
trying to get in his head a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Ramsey does. We saw he forced A.J. Green, a guy who I've never seen lose his head, to just snap and just start slamming him and punching him in the head. He's a guy that he gets in people's heads. I think that, but this is where you want to see that veteran sort of style of the Steelers is like, you can talk all you want.
Jedi mind tricks.
Exactly. But when you put them pads on, there's nothing that's going to save you from what I got planned. So I personally like that kind of demeanor. And the Ramon Foster right there, he's like, you want to crown him, go ahead. It's like, but he knows it's like what Lee Flowers, when he said paper champs. He's just like, I don't care what people say about them. It's about what's going to happen in the gridiron.
Yeah, and so we'll see if the Steelers can come out and reverse the score on that first game. I think that it's going to be a very good football game. And if Jacksonville wins the game, it's not going to be because the Steelers overlooked them. It's going to be because Jacksonville was the better team, period.
Certainly. But we'll get into our predictions of what will happen when we get to our MyBookie predictions right after this.
In Pittsburgh, we bleed black and gold and love our city. Born in Pittsburgh and now celebrating 130 years in the business, Henny Jewelers is proud to be your premier jewelry store. The holiday season is quickly approaching, so whether it's choosing that watch you've always wanted or you're searching for the ring that was made for her, trust Henny Jewelers. Visit our store on Walnut Street in Shadyside to see our extensive inventory of designer engagement rings, watches, and one-of-a-kind jewelry. For more, go to hennyjewelers.com and follow us on social.
Embarrassed by that stained carpet in your office? Tired of looking at your dull, dirty floor? My Floor Needs is here to fix that. With years of experience and 24/7 service, My Floor Needs offers stripping and waxing, carpet, tile, grout, and concrete cleaning, as well as polishing and buffing services. Call 888-67-MY-FLOOR or email info@myfloorneeds.com for a free estimate and get your floors looking like new again. Whatever your floor needs, call 888-67-MY-FLOOR.
Does your company ever miss its sales goals or struggle getting new business?
Is it tough to hire or to give reps the right tools?
Hi, I'm Dan, and I started Engaged Prospect right here in Pittsburgh to help companies like yours.
And I'm Sam. We're helping companies hit sales goals and grow their businesses.
Think of us as your inside sales team.
Our clients are experts in their fields. We're experts in inside sales.
Give us a call today at 412-715-5151.
Or visit us online at engagedprospect.com/DK.
It's been 50 years since the Summer of Love, but if you're not performing as well as you'd like, check out NEDforless.com. I'm Eric Cushy of Curtis Pharmacy. Don't pay premium prices for the little blue pill. So Denafil, the same active ingredient as in Viagra, costs 80% less. NEDforless.com. All we need is your physician's name. We do the rest. Free shipping, too. NDDforless.com. Curtis Pharmacy, Western PA's Better Way Pharmacy. CurtisPharmacy.com.
Welcome back to DK Sports Radio. You're listening to the Steelers Preview Show. I'm Chris Carter here with Dale Lolley, and it's time for the MyBookie.ag picks segment. But before we get into our picks, let's thank our friends at MyBookie.ag, your number one online betting source. You could go there right now, MyBookie.ag, mobile or on your computer, and you'll get you'll get some great lines, great matchups, football, basketball, hockey. They'll get you set up with whatever you need. And also, if you use that promo code DK Radio, you'll get 50% bonus on your deposit. Be sure to visit MyBookie.ag for these key playoff matchups coming up in the NFL. MyBookie.ag, you play, you win, you get paid. Now, Dale, let's get paid because we're going to be making these picks in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Starting off with the Saturday 4:30 matchup, the Atlanta Falcons go up against the number 1 seed Philadelphia Eagles. First time in NFL history a 1 seed has not been the favorite in a matchup. Dale, who do you like?
I got to go with the Falcons.
Going with the Falcons.
I think you're looking at a more experienced team. You're looking at a team that knows how to win and win on the road, as they showed last week, going into Los Angeles and beating the Rams. And I think this Eagles team, they're just Nick Foles does not give me any reason to think that he is the answer.
So I'm glad I could pull you around because last week I picked the Falcons and you picked the Rams.
No, that's not what happened.
That's not what happened at all.
That is absolutely not what happened.
The complete opposite. But yeah, I'm with you. The Falcons, they're looking really smooth right now. They're playing really good playoff football. And they're going up against an Eagles team. I think that without Carson Wentz, I even think with Carson Wentz right now, the Falcons could beat this Eagles team.
Possibly, but I think Wentz was playing really well this season.
He was playing really well.
And I think if he plays the entire season, he's the NFL MVP.
Oh, for sure.
But he's not there.
He's not there.
They've had a couple extra weeks here to prepare with Nick Foles, but Nick Foles is a completely different quarterback, and I don't see him beating this game.
I agree. So do you think they're even going to beat that 3-point spread?
Well, 3 points isn't much, so no, I don't think they cover.
All right, there you go. Falcons, no covering for the Eagles. Moving on to the AFC matchup, their number 1 seed, Tennessee Titans, going to visit the New England Patriots. Patriots hosting. They are a 13.5-point favorite on Saturday night. Is there any chance whatsoever? Now, we both counted the Titans out last week going into Arrowhead. We both said there was no chance whatsoever they were going to beat the Chiefs. They surprised us both.
They did, and good for them. But, the New England Patriots have played 9 Saturday night playoff games in prime time in their history. They're 9-0 in those games.
Goodness me.
That's not going to change in this one.
Oh, boy. But, okay. So maybe that doesn't change. But do the Titans at least cover a 13? That means they have to not lose by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and they are a tough matchup for New England's defense because what they do well is run the football. Mm-hmm. What New England's defense doesn't do well is stop the run.
Right.
They're built to stop teams from throwing the ball. But likewise, if New England's offense can come out and jump out to an early lead here, that could change some things. And it takes you out of that running game. But I think that Dick LeBeau will come up with some different schemes. And this isn't the typical Dick LeBeau style defense. They play a lot of man. Mm-hmm. Logan Ryan is familiar with.
He was on the Patriots last year.
On the Patriots last year, so he's familiar with their offense. Maybe they'll pick his brain a little bit.
All the talk about that.
13.5 points. I just don't see the Titans keeping it within that. I think the Patriots win at least by 17, maybe 30-13, something along those lines. I'm taking the Patriots.
You're taking the Patriots. I'm taking the Patriots as well, but I will say it's going to be a 10-point game, so I think the Titans will cover. I think that Adoree Jackson and Logan Ryan are up to the task for running with the Patriots receivers, but in the end, Tom Brady's just going to be able to make too many plays for them to win the game.
They won't be able to make Tom Brady look like Blake Bortles.
No, that I don't know where Kevin Byard. So Kevin Byard, their safety, I think he led the NFL. He was I think second most in the NFL in interceptions this year behind Darius Slay, but. He said that. I'm going in there to make Tom Brady look like Blake Bortles.
That's impossible.
No. There's just even if you intercept him 30,000 times, he still is Tom Brady, and that guy is still Blake Bortles. Moving on to the Sunday games, we're gonna skip the big game. Of course, we're gonna go to the night game. This is probably the most intriguing matchup. As far as where people are unsure of who to bet here. The Saints are visiting the 2-seed Minnesota Vikings. Both teams are kind of came into the season in different ways. The Saints found their running game in Ingram and Kamara, and funny enough, they had Adrian Peterson, traded him away, and now they're one of the best running teams in the NFL. Vikings, one of the best defenses in the NFL with all their Pro Bowlers on that team. Now, Dale, the Vikings are favored by 5 in this Sunday 4:40 p.m. matchup. Who do you like and why?
The NFC Championship game will be played in New Orleans.
Ooh, I
think the New Orleans Saints go into Minnesota and they shock the Vikings. I think they win this game outright.
Dang, can the Vikings ever just catch a break?
No. I think, and here's the reason why. I'm taking the veteran leadership of Drew Brees over Case Keenum, who has never started an NFL playoff game. Even though he's got weapons, even though their defense is great, I think Drew Brees finds a way to get it done in this game.
I agree. I think Drew Brees, he's a fun guy to watch. He knows the game really well. He's a student of the game, and he leads those guys so well. It's been crazy. We've seen generations go through this guy, and he seems to still it's not like Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he's there, but Drew Brees is like the soul of the team. He's still there leading the charge, leading the hype-ups.
I think the guys in that team actually like him. I don't know if they can say that about Tom Brady.
Exactly.
I don't know that a lot of the guys on that roster in New England have a relationship with Tom Brady. I think they respect him,
right?
But I don't. But he's not hanging out with them.
No, he's not.
I think Drew Brees is one of the guys.
I think it certainly seems like. I mean, when you look at those, I don't know if you saw Mark Ingram's locker room video after the win last week, but they were all dancing, and Drew was right with him, like he was one of the younger guys. So I'm with you. I'm going with the Saints. You can even have the points. I think that their defense, Marshawn Lattimore, is going to cause some problems back there. Case Keenum's going to make some mistakes. I think you're going to see Cameron Jordan be a key factor in this game, and that they're going to be able to win it. They're going to host the Atlanta Falcons NFC South showdown in the NFC Championship game. But the game everyone wants to talk about, of course, Jaguars at Steelers. Steelers favored by 7. Full touchdown there. Dale, what do you got?
You know, we talked about Kevin Byard wanting to make Tom Brady look like Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles has become the Munson, to steal a line from Kingpin, of the NFL. You know, if you want to talk about a guy being a bad player, you talk about Bortles. Well, we want to make him Bortles. So, you know, you don't typically see opposing teams talk about players on other teams, especially current players like that, especially when you're not playing against them that week. He can't beat the Steelers in this game.
No.
For the Jacksonville Jaguars to come into this football game and win, they need to force turnovers. They need to get a kick return for a touchdown, some kind of return for a touchdown, and get after Ben Roethlisberger like they did in the first game. I don't see that happening. I think they'll cause the Steelers some troubles with their defense, but I think the Steelers score enough in this game to win this one. I had the Steelers winning this one 23-13.
23-13. I'm gonna go 24-10. Just because I think it's going to be a 2-touchdown difference. I think the Steelers are going to put up about 2 touchdowns early. They're going to limit them to just one field goal in the first half. The Jaguars will respond in the third quarter with some sort of drive or big play that happens, but Ben Roethlisberger is going to put the game away with another touchdown and a field goal in the second half. I just think that Ben Roethlisberger is ready to execute.
Well, you got this whole thing mapped out. I don't have to cover it on Sunday.
No, you don't. I'm going to be there by myself. You can go home and relax, Dale.
I appreciate that.
Have a brew on me. But I just think Ben Roethlisberger, he knows what he's going to be seeing this week. I think he's confident. They've all had time to rest. The Steelers are healthy. Their defense is going to be active. I think they're going to be one to force more turnovers in this game. But Steelers win 24-10. Going to the AFC Championship game to play the Patriots. But those are our picks, Dale. Let's see if they hold up a little bit better than last week. But yeah, thanks again, buddy, for another good show. We got a lot more stuff coming at you this week. We got a Carter's Classroom video. Dale's got about 30,000 more articles to write about what's going on with the Steelers and this Jaguars game. But that's all on DKPittsburghSports.com. Thank you, Henny Jewelers and MyBookie.ag for sponsoring our shows here. We'll be back next week to either wrap up the season or get you ready for an AFC Championship game.